Hey, good afternoon, good morning, friends and family. So glad to be here. It's another beautiful day in Virginia Beach. Let me know if you're here. Say hello in the comments. Make sure you can hear me and see me. I think my mic's on. Um, yeah, say hello. Let me know you're here. Tell me what you got going on. What does your day look like today? And here, I'm going to keep this short and sweet again today. I don't have a lot for you, but I do have a question that came up. What are you scared of? We've talked a lot about moving into your best work, your best life, and the things that make you feel good about where you're at, or the things that would make you feel better about where you're at. But what are you scared of? And for me, man, I was having a couple conversations yesterday afternoon, and I realized that most of my life, one of the biggest things that scares me is people. Being vulnerable, I guess, is probably a better way to say it. I push people away in my life that I probably shouldn't have. Hey, good morning, Will. Great to see you, my friend. I've pushed people away throughout my life that, looking back on, there's people who treated me well, and I did not treat them the same way that they gave to me. And so that's part of why now I spend so much time and energy investing in other people. People and relationships are the currency of the future. They're the currency of my future. They're the currency of your future. Investing in those relationships is super important. And I don't know when I realized that. I don't know what caused me to realize that, but it just has been this ongoing thing for me. And I realize even in recent friendships, relationships, whatever you want to label them as, I was scared to be vulnerable, to be my true self with them. And it's because I was living up to other people's expectations. I hadn't defined what my expectations were. I hadn't defined where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, and the things that were important to Dan. And since doing that, I've realized that maybe not so much as a failure, but not being willing to be vulnerable with people was part of that whole thing. And so since I've gotten a bit clearer on who I am, who I want to be, where I'm headed, and pursuing my goals and my dreams, not living in other people's truths, living for my own truth, and discovering what that looks like every day, has allowed me to just spend time getting outside of my comfort zone and being vulnerable with people, opening up who I am and what I bring to the table for people. And man, what an impact it's had on the relationships I've been able to develop, even over the past few months. It's been an extraordinary experience. And so my question to you is, what are you scared of? What scares you the most? And what can you do to just embrace those fears, understand your uniqueness, and how can you improve those situations? And if it's people like me, if being vulnerable and breaking down those walls to give people an opportunity, if that's a fear for you, then I encourage you to do something similar to what I did, and that's just start getting in touch with who you really are. And that's what we've been talking about here all along, I think. So, yeah, Will. And I wonder how much of that was attributed to the military experience. Will says he feels me on the people thing. And hello, Laura. It's great to see you. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I wonder how much of that is attributed to the military experience. I read something the other day that stood out. A couple things stood out to me about it, but one of the things that was said is oftentimes, and I've told you my personal experience with this before, oftentimes, we are taught out of context to put our families first. What they really mean is putting your military families first. And I'll tell you, the sacrifices there caused me significant issues in my personal family relationships because it was out of context, right? What they really mean is mission first. What they really mean is taking care of others before yourself when it comes to your military family. And they fail to teach us how to properly interact with the rest of the world until just before it's time to leave the military. They send you through a few classes and say, well, you're not supposed to say things like acronyms we use every day in the military. You're not supposed to, be as forthright and aggressive when you're interacting with the rest of the population. All the things that we've learned over a career, they try to stuff into, well, what's now a year, sometimes two. If you're lucky, I think I had about 6 months of training in how to interact with the rest of the world. So the things they teach you are out of context when it comes to personal and interpersonal relationships with people outside of the military. And that became a fear for me, is just learning how to be vulnerable with people. I have a friend I've made here in our co-working spaces, and she caused me to think about that the other day. And why I had shared one of these lives with her, and I said, please don't watch this. It was, at first my answer, she said, why? I said, well, at first my answer was embarrassment, but I'm not embarrassed about the things I'm sharing with you guys. It's the fact that we interact here and, on a weekly basis, someone I have to see in person, even if just in passing. And the thought of that was scary because it makes me vulnerable to the people around me. And that's my thought I wanted to share with y'all today is, being vulnerable still scares the hell out of me, and I'm working to get better every day. So I thank y'all for being here to support me in this endeavor. I posted this on my Facebook this morning. I told you yesterday, I didn't know where this thing was going to go. I still don't know where it's going. This thing being this live streams and me sharing my experiences and my thoughts with you in the hopes that I can improve someone's life. I had no idea, but I knew I wanted to share these messages with you. And one of my fears starting this was, what if they don't show up? And I had to think about, well, I need to change my mindset on this because I have a message I want to share. And if they don't show up, it's okay. I'm still doing my part to share that message, right? So getting out of the way of my own negative self-talk and defeating behavior and changing my mindset and exploring the what does it make possible mentality versus the what if mentality, right? I can think about all the what ifs and all the negative junk that could have come from this that would have kept me from being here and talking to each of you each day. And man, how many opportunities to just know what people are looking at, what people are doing, what you're facing, what you're feeling. How many opportunities would I have missed if I had still said, I really should do this live stream, but I'm scared. What if people don't show up? So those are my thoughts for today. Maybe a little disorganized, I don't know, but what do you think? What are your fears, and what are you going to do about it? Tell me what's going on with you today. I'd love to hear from you. While you're thinking, or maybe you're typing, I don't know, these comments get slowly delayed more and more, I think, sometimes. But I had another thought in my interactions with some friends and thinking about the things I just said, the thoughts I've just shared with you. I realized that it still stands out to me, the phrase, oh, the places we'll go. all the possibilities that exist for each of you if you just step back, evaluate your life, think about where you want to be. And the how, I've told you before, the how then becomes so much clearer. You think about where it is you want to be and why it is you want to be there. The how suddenly isn't as ambiguous. Okay, I don't see any more comments, so I'll keep this short for today. I appreciate, as always, you being here. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the ongoing interactions and the friendships with all of you. Um, and I appreciate the things that you have taken time to share with me. Continues to make me want to be here each and every day and just work on being better. So, hey, so today, oh, here we go. Will's got a comment. Will, yeah, so Will says he fears his son is going to screw himself out of a good life because he seems to only think with, with a phallic organ. And I just think back to, when I was a teenager, Will, and, the stupid things we did, the stupid things we said, probably all for the wrong reasons, right? And that's probably something ties into my current fear of being vulnerable with people is I never want to hurt anyone. I never want to make anyone's life more difficult than they may already have it. My hope is to only be able to add value to them, but it scares the hell out of me to think about the commitment that requires and the possibility of failure. What if I commit to someone in being a part of their life and I fail them extraordinarily? That's my fear, right? And I don't want to be that for anybody. And so it's caused me to push people away who probably could have been wonderful as part of my life. And I've refused to do that anymore. I have to make a conscious effort not to push those people away, just to be open to the possibilities that exist. There is truth to the fact that I possibly have something to offer you in your life. I can possibly improve your life. I can possibly be in part of your life and not hurt you. But it's still scary, right? What if I don't live up to those expectations? Well, whose expectations are they? Yes, I knew what you meant, Will. He's thinking with his little head. And as a man, I'm going to tell you that I'm pretty sure we have all been guilty of thinking not with our hearts, not with our heads, but for the wrong reasons. I'll just leave it there. And Laura says she fears being a disappointment or failure. Wow. I didn't even read that comment before I shared those thoughts. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think is I fear disappointing other people. And it's important, I think, from that perspective to define what your expectations are of you. What do you have that you can contribute? And how can you improve someone else's life with the things that you bring? Me, I have a wealth of technical skills. I have a wealth of marketing knowledge. I have a little bit of life experience. I have a little bit of leadership experience, or at least I'd like to think. I have this microphone and this resource to share some of my experiences. I think I can bring value to someone's life who is looking or working towards their next big thing, whatever that is, right? It doesn't have to be some big, extraordinary experience or event or whatever. It's just, are you someone who is working to be better, to striving to be better in your life, your business, your work? And if so, then I feel like I might be able to bring some value. Is there going to be failures? Is there going to be circumstances that we feel we didn't do as much as we could have? Absolutely. I think that's just part of it. It's part of the growing experience. So don't worry about being a disappointment or a failure. Worry about how can I invest better in those people, in the lives of those around me, the lives of the people who might count on me, depend on me, who might just want to be part of my life. And that's kind of where I'm at. So this was probably a little more personal than I would normally get as part of the experience, part of me just being vulnerable and honest and open with you. And I appreciate you listening. So that's my fear, letting other people down, hurting them, not living up to some worldview expectations that are probably completely asinine. Decide what your truths are, live for that. I hope that you all have an amazing day, and I look forward to coming back and seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great one, everybody.